Good morning, everybody. This is Anthony from Sunny Creates. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I would like to show you one of the pieces I have done with my for my bee junk journal, my bustling bees junk journal. And the idea is inspired by Louis Heinzel, and I hope I got the name right, or the pronunciation rather right on that. So just want to come to you quickly to show you what I did in terms of that. And you know that I work on my scraps here, so I thought today I was going to use these scraps over here and take Louis's idea and apply it to my scraps and then make something out of it for you. So I'm going to show you part of the process here because it remains the same, and Louis did a fantastic video on it. And if I remember, I'm going to link it below. It was a brilliant video on it, and she used you know, lots of other scraps and things like that. But I thought that I would use what we have over here, since we are working off this pile, you know, on an occasional basis. And I'm trying to show you how to use real tiny scraps over here that may be offcuts from whatever we have. So I've already done a few of these here, and I just want to show it to you, just for you to get the idea on how it's how I'm doing it. So I'm gonna just take out those scraps there. I think they're more than sufficient for my project. So I'm doing it on a smaller scale as well. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear them in half. Well, whatever. That's the beauty of this here, because when you see what I've done with it, then you'll know. So I think it will work best with some kind of cardstock or the other for this project. Okay, for Louise's one, I know that from what I saw, or I could gather, it seems like she used some papers as well. Okay, so definitely give that a shot. But for this project over here, I thought that I'm going to use this. Now I've got my craft mat out here, and I'm going to work directly on my craft mat, and then I'll clean it up later. Right, so what she did was she took some of her scraps and she pimped it up, meaning that she took her scraps that are, you know, that she uses or gets from creating, and she added to it. She added some color to it, some stamping to it. I watched the video a while ago, so I can't remember. No, I'm not sure whether she added any texture to it, but I mean, that's also something you can do. I'm not planning to do it in this video here, but yes, why not add some texture to it if you want to, like your texture paste, or you know, stamp something and emboss it, heat emboss it on it. You know, it's endless, the possibilities on this over here. So I'm going to use some paints, because I don't work with paints all the time. So I'm just going to use some paints, and this here I think it's called Coconut Bisque, and we've got like a brownie here. Not sure what color this is. Brown. Brown, yellow, but it's more of a peach. Tweety and Bentley, and I've got black paint over here, which don't even ask me how long it's been around for. So I'm going to use these here, and as I mentioned to you, I already started this project. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to use most of the paints that I already have, okay? But I remember, if I remember correctly, I kind of didn't keep this paint back. So just gonna add a tiny bit. It depends on how much you have that you want to use. And what Louise did is that she used she had a palette. I have no idea where my palette is, and whatever was her off, you know, like paints in there, she just spritzed some water in it, and she revived them, and she then just put them onto the scraps. Okay, so all I'm doing here is I'm putting some water in it, and I'm starting with the lightest color, and I'm keeping to the theme of my the colors in my junk journal on my new kit that's coming out, which is Bustling Bees. Well, it has come out. It's in my Etsy store. I'll leave the link below, and right now I am running a special on my Etsy store. Okay, so there we go. So we got that color going for us over there. Yeah, so I think initially she added it to, I can't remember, a box. I think it was a box. I can't remember, to be honest. And yeah, so this is just the technique. So oopsie, you see, I knew I was supposed to do something, and I'm going to wear gloves, because the reason why my nails look like this is because the other night I was experimenting with this, and it went into my nails, so I could not fully get them out. So let's add some gloves. Right, let's do this. So, and that's what this technique is all about. Oh my gosh, isn't this so much of fun, ladies and gents? Isn't this just awesome to just play around? This is pure playing around with your scraps. You can see real scraps. That was my son doing some of his artwork over there on one of my pages. Sometimes he comes in and he takes a box of color pencils and he just sits and he just colors the pages in. So why not use it? Okay, so there we go. We've done that now, and I think that's sufficient. And I got some water over here that I am just dipping my brush in here, and then just let me clean off my gloves as much as possible. So I hope you are having an awesome day. So I'm just gonna heat dry this. You can put it in your oven, and if you do that, remember the precautions that you need to follow. I don't put anything in my oven because it's always warm here. Okay, we're in summer, so let's do this. Yes, so I think the tips I will give you on this is that if you're using your scraps the way I'm using it, then I think your cardboard must, yeah, it must be a little bit sturdy. Okay, it's not necessary, but it just helps so that it doesn't curl too much. You can see some of the pieces are laying flat while others are curling. It's also the size of them and the width of them, but also because if they are not too sturdy, in terms of weight, then yeah, you might find that they will curl up. But with this technique, it doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. So now what color am I using here? I'm using the one that says it was yellow, but in actual fact it looks more like a peachy. Okay, so I'm going to do the very same thing. Now these ones here is because I had started working with them before, and I thought this was a nice so I'm not sure if you know or if I've said it to you before, I love sushi. So when we buy takeout sushi, the soy sauce comes in containers like this. So I just wash them and I keep them in my craft room, and I use them for this purpose. I mean, for many purposes. This is one of them. Oh, and the other thing is, you'll find that they will stick, and that's the reason why you want to fast dry them and not allow them to dry naturally. And as you're going through the process, then all you do is you just try to separate them as you go, but the results of them not being separated looks fantastic as well. You know, when you try to peel them apart, they look just amazing. Okay, so this technique lends itself to anything and how you would like to work. It's not prescriptive at all, and really it's so much more about the fun of it, rather than you having to watch the process that you follow, I would think. Okay, so there we are, and let's wash those hands a little bit. And so okay, I'm back now, and I've got two colors on it, and so I'm not going to show you all the colors now that I applied to it. What I'm going to show you is the scraps that I had already made, okay, which is this here. And this is what I'm speaking about when I say that your so all I went back and did was I added the yellow, okay, dried it out, then I added the brown in it, and I dried that out, and then I added the black in it. And I think the important part about this whole thing is that in order not to have a muddy effect, you got to dry after each color application. But in my case, even though I dried, I wasn't fussy in my drying because I was going for a grungy effect. So I did not mind if the colors bled a little bit into each other, but obviously to a certain limit. Okay, so so this is what I've gotten from it. And then what I did was I know that you listen, you can also use oxides, you know, ink oxides on it. So what you would do is you would either take the pad and you would smear it on, let's say if this was the pad, okay, you would open it up and you would smear it over here. And I think you saw me doing that technique, spread some water on it, and then use it, you know, put your papers on that, or you could put your ink on this, so smear the pad rather on this, spray some water, and then use it as a stamping tool to get that oxide effect. Now I didn't use the oxide effect here because I didn't use oxide inks here because the surface was pretty small to work with, so I didn't think it was necessary to do that. So then all I went in and I did was I took a stamp, which I forgot to take out. So just give me a second. there you go. So I think I took the stamp here, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was this stamp here, from the Tim Holtz ticket booth collection. Just seeing, and I put it onto acrylic stamp block. And I literally, it was way too much of effort for me to to spread these out, you know, lay them flat or whatever. So I literally did this. I went in, and the whole, I mean, and you can use as many stamps as you want to. And if I had bigger scraps of paper that I was working with, I probably would use a variety of stamps. But because I was just working with this lot of paper, and my whole idea was to show you that, you know, from that container of papers, I have all these long strips here, and I wanted to show you with just the long strips what we can do. Leave the rest of the you know, scraps out, but what we can do here. And so that was my idea, to show you how we can turn our scraps that we have into pimp our scraps, you know, make them, change them to suit your project in a way. Yeah, so just do that. And it's random and it's awesome. Yeah, so that's what I did over there. And I'm looking for something to clean out my my acrylic block, I mean my stamp here, because I didn't take out a wet wipe today. But there's a wet wipe. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it on there. Excuse me. Now, so that's what we created there. From there, after we added all the colors, we got this, and then we stamped on it. Okay, and then let me show you what I created with it. Just want to take this out, add it to here. So you'll see me using some of these scraps again in my other videos that will be coming up. Just cleaning up the table here a bit too, or the mat, because remember we worked with paint. So we don't want that paint to sit on this for too long. Well, I don't want it to sit there for too long. Right, and just wipe it down because now it's wet. Okay. So I'm wondering if the weather is picking up for the people in the north, if it's getting any warmer. Here in South Africa, we are still in summer. You can hear the aircon going, and it's really early in the morning. So, yeah. So, what I did over here is I had this coffee dyed piece of paper 2 years, over 2 years. It's the first time I coffee dyed paper about over 2 years ago. Yeah, I think about, anyway, does it matter really? And then what I did is I took the strips and I started, I looked at some thin ones and some thick ones, and I added it here, and I used some book pages, and I used some music paper. You can do a lot more with it, okay? And this idea here, I got it from Corey Darman, and I think she's creating with scraps. Yes, she is. So this idea here, if you follow Corey Darman, you will see her using this idea in some of her work. Okay, so we just laid the scraps out, and then I did some die cards. So remember, when was it? My video with my autumn tags, which is my second last video, I was using some paper, some black paper, and I was showing you something. Okay, so literally that's the same piece of black paper I used here, and I cut out see my autumn one, I cut out the flower. And then this year was me trying out the honeycomb dye over here. So yeah, it was something like that or whatever. So I cut that out and I said I'm going to use that. And then this was another piece of scrap. Literally, I was trying my homemade texture paste on that one there one day, and I just smeared it on. So then I actually used that piece of scrap there to create my tabs. Okay, and then why am I showing you these is because I want you to see how we can create with really small scraps. Okay, this year was literally this piece of paper, which I then I stamped out 2 bees, so I got 4 bees out of it. Okay, and I then used Koki markers, and I used tea dye to just brighten up the wings there a little bit. Didn't do a good job on that. Yeah, so all I did here is I laid down this, just give me a second. Sorry, I had this on my other table. Yeah, I glued them down, okay, in whatever order I preferred to use. And I then took, sorry, I'm trying to put this aircon off. I then took ground espresso and distressed the sides. Now this is the only one that wasn't a scrap, and it was part of my ephemera in my bustling bees kit, and this was one of the what's the word I'm looking for, one of my test pages that I printed, because when I printed it I didn't like how that came out, so redesigned it or whatever. So here's me using actually scraps, but I wouldn't term it real scraps for that there. Okay, so that was done there. And this year, this bee was a stamp as well. It was from one of my stamp kits, not mine, one I purchased, okay? And so this was basically the only thing that you could say was not a total scrap in this project over here. Okay, right. It was a misprint, let's put it that way. So I thought that I would show you how I'm going to lay this out to make this tab. Okay. I mean, not tab, tag. And I'm going to turn it this way. And the reason I'm going to turn it this way is because I'm going to put my tab on there. Right? So ladies and gents, I hope that you are enjoying following me on this series whenever I can of creating with your scraps over here. You know, me taking from my scrap container that you can see, and those scraps have come about from me you know, when I print my digitals, or when I print digitals and you've got the corners, or when I've got a silhouette, and when I run something through the silhouette, then I get all the leftovers over here. So that's how I get all those scraps over there, those long pieces. So I hope that you are enjoying seeing me create with just specifically that container over there of long scraps. I have lots of other ones, but I thought that let's see how many ideas I can get using just that container there. For example, these are scraps as well, you know, but I just thought maybe let's do something that's specific to that, and let's see what we get. And then if you didn't see my video, there was another one using, I think there were 2 more using that container of scraps, and it was the Scrappy picket fence tag that I made, and the Scrappy dangles that I made. So if you're looking for that, it will be under my playlist. I think it was some scraps or what, I don't know, I can't remember what my playlist is called, but you will find it on my YouTube channel, and just look for my playlist. And excuse me. Okay, find it on my playlist, and then you can go and watch that over there. And I think I mean, I do some stuff with recycling as well, so be sure to pop on by there on that, I think, recycled junk journal ephemera or something, on that playlist, and look at what we have over there as well. Now, I'm so busy talking to you that I didn't realize my fingers were messed. So I've got glue on this side of my project, which is not ideal, but yeah, let's see how we can work that. And so all I've done is I've added that piece to that there, and then I'm gonna add this here and to this. So remember, you can find me on Instagram. Oh, this thing is running now. You can find me on Instagram on Sunny Creates. You can find me on my Facebook page, Sunny Creates Junk Journals, and you can find my kits on my Etsy store, Sunny Creates, as well. Leave all the links down below over there so that you can see the creations. Yeah, now look how pretty that is. And then I wanted to put that, maybe I'm going to put that kind of there, so kind of there, so it blocks some of my glue. Let's do that. Now this stamp set is such a pretty stamp set, but you'll see me using it in my kit going forward, or in videos going forward for my kit. Oh my word, this glue is just weeping. I think these would look very cute if we pop some tape on them, double-sided foam tape, and pick them up, the bees. But oh, when you see my flip through for my Fabulous Flowers junk journal, then you'll understand why I don't do that. Because ladies, gents, I just cannot get it right. I can't get it right to yeah, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. It's just too close to each other there. What was I thinking? And I don't want to move it because then it'll be glue all over the place. But yeah, maybe I'll pop another one over here. Maybe I'll pop another one here because I have some to work with here. Maybe I'll take one and pop it there or something like that. Yeah. So that is our junk journal. I mean, our take on Louise Heinzel's video or technique of pumping up your scraps. I don't know whether she calls it that. I'm just calling it that. And I've taken it a step further by showing you how to create only with that box of or the container of long scraps that I have, and also trying to show you that even the smallest piece of scrap, we can use it to stamp on, to die cut from, or whatever the case may be. So I do hope that you enjoyed this this video here. I didn't want to show you the whole technique because I think Louise Hansel did such an amazing job, and she shows you so much more on it that I think that it will be well worth the watch. Thank you. I told you that I'm going to say this first. Thank you, gents and ladies, okay, and ladies and gents, okay, for watching this video. I do hope that you like it, and if you do and you want to see more content of this nature, then do consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you aren't a subscriber as yet, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'd like to see your comments. I'd like to see what you have to say, but I'd like to see your suggestions as well. So if there's anything that you feel that you would like for me to experiment with, let me know. I don't get all the supplies that are out there, but isn't that just what it's all about? It's all about, if you can't get it, you substitute it, or if your budget doesn't allow you to purchase it, then let's see how we can make a plan to substitute it, or yes, or also how do we make the use of our current craft supplies that we have to be able to make different creations. So it's all about that, and it's all about having fun. Okay, so take care and have a blessed day, and enjoy. Happy crafting from Santhony at Sunny Creates. Bye bye.